All right, guys, so I'm taking this apart. Here's the #1 piston. So you can see it's coated here. It was coated on here, and maybe still some coating on that. But these are JE Pistons from way back in the day. Randy Gillis, who is dead now, RIP. This was the last set he made at JE, and that was 2012, I think it was. So, and then there's the Molnar connecting rod. I think these are 4¼ grams. So far the rod bearings look good. 1 and 2 look good enough for me to reuse them. And I always like to smell that stuff to see if it smells burnt to me. Let's see, look at that. See, look how that ARP stuff gets. Thick and gelatinous. All right, guys, so I'm taking this apart. Here's the #1 piston. So you can see it's coated here. It was coated on here, and maybe still some coating on that. But these are JE Pistons from way back in the day. Randy Gillis, who is dead now, RIP. This was the last set he made at JE, and that was 2012, I think it was. So, and then there's the Molnar connecting rod. I think these are 4¼ grams. So far the rod bearings look good. 1 and 2 look good enough for me to reuse them. And I always like to smell that stuff to see if it smells burnt to me. Let's see, look at that. See, look how that ARP stuff gets. Thick and gelatinous. Yeah, nice. Again, they all look good. All the rod bearings look good. Nice. What's that, 8? Perfect. So I don't think any water got down in there. That's my main concern. All right, guys, well, you saw me pull the pistons out of them. They're sitting back there. We're going to check them out. I talked to Bob Beach today, and we're going to hone the block on Friday. So I said, what do I need to do, Bob? He said, because all I really want to do is hone it. Get some of those scratches out of there as best as possible. Throw some new rings in it. The rod bearings are good. You saw that. So we're going to pull this crank out of here. You guys love that crank video. I'm telling you, people go crazy over it. It's amazing. It's nothing special, like I say. So Bob said all you need to do is pull the crank out, bring the front and rear main caps, head gaskets. He's got everything else for the torque plates and stuff. So that's where we're at. So let's pull these off. Forgot how tight this stuff is. I just go right down through them. We'll loosen them all the same amount. Problem is I had this nice breaker bar longer than this, and I can't find a damn thing, so I don't know where it is. I always had this weird, I don't know if it's called superstition or what. I don't like taking stuff like this apart and then putting it back together. You always worry that it's not going to be the same. But you know what? It is. As long as you tighten it up the way it was and put the correct thrust on it, you're going to be okay. So, and if we ain't, we ain't. That's the part of building that you got to get your confidence in. It's just one, no one wants to take all this stuff back apart and replace stuff. And two, you don't want to have an episode somewhere. But it is what it is. Ain't no big deal. Should push it, but I'm dying to see what these main bearings look like too, just like you are. These studs are really short. They're just even with the nut. And that's because I had that windage tray on here, which was, I think, rubbed on the wheel pickup, and the fact that it was cracked from probably doing wheel stands. This main girdle came from Ford Performance Solutions in California. They built my first stroker for me. I don't even know if they're still there. Troy, you know, it was Troy Bone. In fact, he commented on something that I posted yesterday, the intake manifold thing. All right, let's see what this main bearing looks like. Oh, mint. Very nice. Doesn't look like there's any fretting or anything like that. Smells nice. Maybe a tiny bit. You could look at it and you judge. Tiny bit, you can see that. So it probably has a little cap lock. I mean, these things, this is old, baby, and we're pounding the hell out of it, so. Bearings, again, look perfect. There might be there's a little cap lock right there. But these things are going to move around. These engines were probably only made to support maybe 600 horsepower, not 769. No way. So I expect that. That's where dowel pins come in and make a big difference. This is the thrust bearing, so it's moving a little bit. That's a little concerning. I don't know. I may have to change these bearings. I don't know. I'll see what Bob thinks. That might bother me. But that's why you take it apart. It is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. It's been doing pretty good for what I've been pounding it for. But again, that one looks mint too. That's why they make good billet caps. And this looks fantastic. Rear main. So I showed you this cap. This is the main, this is the thrust bearing. And you can see that's not normal. So I started looking at it, and I noticed that the girdle itself was rubbing on the main cap. So this was ground down and had clearance way back when. I don't know when I last checked it. I know I didn't do anything with it in 2024. You know, when Bob and I just put the crank back in, we just put it back in. So I think that might be the girdle's hitting that, and it's probably, when you tighten it up, it's probably pulling the cap out a little bit and pressing it in the center, because that's kind of what it looks like. So if I'm gonna grind this cap a little bit better, so it's not hitting that, and you can see it on the girdle itself. So that's a good thing to know. Still, that thing would have lasted a few more runs. It's not going to be gone, but it's enough where I need to pay attention to this. I think I weighed this crank, it was 53 pounds compared to what I took out of it before. All these bearings look good. That main thrust bearing, a tiny bit of wear. I don't know, I'll see what Bob says. I may not even do anything, fix the cap and be done with it and see what happens. But it looks good otherwise. I'm gonna clean it up, put the caps back on it, get it ready to load on the engine cradle, and that's it. So I appreciate you guys being here at Dragboss Garage. We're getting down to the wire, baby. The rocker arm shaft setup by Terry Wilkes from Wilkes Performance. He said it was shipped out today, Wednesday is what he told me it would be out. Give or take, whatever. So that's going to be going to Darren. Darren's going to set that up. When he does the heads, he's going to film all that. So it's coming, it's getting there. So like I always say, you're always seeing and learning something new on DBG.